Travis Kelce leaves Highmark Stadium after the end of the Chiefs vs. Buffalo Bills game. On Sunday, November 17, Travis Kelce attended the Chiefs vs. Buffalo Bills game at Highmark Stadium. However, after the game, Travis Kelce left Highmark Stadium after the game ended. Travis Kelce surprised the crowd at Highmark Stadium with his successful touchdown at the game between the Chiefs and Buffalo Bills. Travis Kelce, after receiving the ball from Patrick Mahomes, he made good use of his opportunity. Immediately after completing the touchdown, Travis Kelce threw the ball into the stands and ran behind to celebrate. Kelce's teammates also rejoiced and ran towards him to celebrate. Tensions are absolutely always going to be high when the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills square off. These have become the AFC's two perennial contenders with several meetings in the playoffs in the 2020s alone. Oh, and they also happen to have perhaps the NFL's two best quarterbacks in Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. On Sunday, they met again in Buffalo. And the influence of the prevalent and always wild Bills Mafia in the stands may have gotten the juices flowing a bit too much for both teams. Early in the second quarter with the Chiefs on offense, Mahomes dropped back but saw immediate pressure from the Buffalo defense and just threw it away. That's when things got quite ugly, though. Kansas City guard Trey Smith was entangled with Bills linebacker Dorian Williams and took the battle well past the whistle and to the ground, or, perhaps more aptly, right into wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. That, naturally, drew the ire of the Bills roster as A.J. Epineza dove in to try and break it up, sending more players from both sides into a mini-brawl that go ugly. Smith and Epineza drew unnecessary roughness penalties that offset, moving things forward with everyone staying in the game. Honestly, shouts to the officiating crew in Buffalo for getting on the scene quickly and making sure things didn't escalate further. Yes, it was chippy. Yes, there was a small skirmish or brawl. But it didn't escalate to anything more than some shoving, some pushing, and so on. That's what refs need to ensure in such moments, and they did a great job. As for the bad blood, we know that Mahomes and Allen have the utmost respect for one another. However, both quarterbacks and their respective teams also came into Sunday's game with monkeys on their backs that they were definitely trying to shake off. For the Chiefs, while they have the Super Bowl rings, they came into this matchup undefeated and not having beaten Allen and the Bills in the regular season in the 2020s. On the flip side, though, Allen even noted prior to Sunday that none of those wins they've gotten mattered because Kansas City has come out on top when it matters most in the playoffs. All that is to say, this probably won't be the last time we see a dust-up involving these two contenders. Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy wasted no time making his mark in the defending Super Bowl champions Week 11 matchup against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday. After Patrick Mahomes threw an early interception that led to a Bills touchdown, the veteran quarterback marched the Chiefs' offense downfield with the help of Worthy. Mahomes struggled to find open receivers early in the game, but when he started looking the rookie's way, momentum shifted in Kansas City's favor. The reigning Super Bowl MVP eventually found Worthy for a touchdown that gave the Chiefs a second-quarter lead over Buffalo. Take a look at Worthy's go-ahead touchdown, which was posted by the Chiefs' official Twitter account. The Kansas City Chiefs drafted receiver Xavier Worthy with the thought that he could develop quickly into quite the weapon for Patrick Mahomes. Quickly hasn't quite happened for the rookie. But something did happen Sunday in the first half against the Buffalo Bills. Armed with blistering 4.21 speed, Worthy can fly down the field, but through the first 9 games of the year, Xavier has been a little hit and miss. But in this showdown, his short TD pass has put KC up 7-6. And so far he has 4 catches for 61 yards and 1 carry for 7 yards. Coming in, totaling 20 receptions for 246 yards and 3 touchdowns is nothing to sneeze at. But Worthy hasn't consistently been featured in the offense. His last 2 outings have netted him just 1 catch for 11 yards, but while those stats point to a player who isn't getting it done, offensive coordinator Matt Nagy highlights what Xavier does for the other players on offense while also giving a rather scary warning about the rookie. "I really like where he's at," Nagy said. "Statistically, the numbers aren't really where a lot of people will want them or any of us, you'd like. but he's been fine. You see some of the shots that we've taken and the stuff underneath is there, so we just got to be patient working through it. For Xavier to learn this offense, it's not easy, but we have ultimate confidence. Xavier has been in a phenomenal mindset this entire time, and I think that's probably most important because the time is coming when we start hitting some of those, and it's going to be fun. The Bills took an early lead on the Chiefs and Amari Cooper played his part. The receiver made a huge one-handed catch down the sideline for his team right after safety Taylor Rapp recorded an interception against Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes. Cooper's grab comes after he was listed on the injury report in recent weeks because of a wrist issue. After Cooper's play, running back James Cook eventually rushed in a touchdown. That score put the Bills up 6-0 after a missed extra point by kicker Tyler Bass. Jacksonville Jaguars owner Shad Khan laid out an expectation for his team a few days before this season started. Make no mistake, this is the best team assembled by the Jacksonville Jaguars ever, Khan said. Not too long ago, that best Jaguars team assembled would have seemingly been in great hands with head coach Doug Peterson. When the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles won the only Super Bowl in franchise history, certain truths seemed apparent when it came to Peterson. He was revolutionizing the game by being more aggressive on fourth downs than any coach before him. That has held true. He was a quarterback whisperer who had Carson Wentz on an MVP track and then coached up Nick Foles to an epic Super Bowl MVP run. He was also a top 5, at worst, coach in the NFL. He outcoached Bill Belichick in a Super Bowl. That happened. And he was going to be the Eagles coach for a long time. That was Peterson's second season as head coach. On Sunday, as the Detroit Lions crushed the best team the Jaguars have ever assembled 52-6, which is the worst loss in Jaguars history, those days of Peterson being a star in the coaching industry seemed like a lifetime ago. The loss dropped the Jaguars to 2-9 and might finish Peterson's time with the Jaguars. On Saturday, someone leaked to NFL media that with the Jaguars bye week coming up, big changes could be made, including firing Peterson. That's an underhanded way of finding out that keeping your job might depend on winning at Detroit. But at least Peterson knew the stakes. And like just about everything else since that Super Bowl win with the Eagles, Peterson fell short. The Lions were up 28-3 late in the second quarter. Jared Goff finished with 412 yards for 4 touchdowns and a perfect 158.3 passer rating. There have been plenty of embarrassing days for the Jaguars this season, but Sunday was a new low. If the season ended today, the Jaguars would have the first pick of the 2025 NFL Draft. They also look like a team that should be drafting first overall. I can't control that, Peterson said after the game, via NFL Media's Tom Pelissero. Listen, I've been around this league a long time. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen obviously. But at the same time, I have a job to do. What happened to Peterson? The easiest way to explain it is he caught a hot streak with a really good Eagles roster and a coaching staff around him that had a heck of a season. Philadelphia went 13-3 that season. Peterson is 42-50-1 with 2 playoff wins in 6 seasons since. The longer answer might have to do with the relationship with his players, particularly quarterbacks, since that magical 2017 season. Peterson's frayed relationship with Wentz was a key reason the Eagles' relationship ended so soon after the Super Bowl. Peterson's relationship with Trevor Lawrence will be dissected, but at the very least it's clear that Peterson didn't get the best out of a quarterback making $55 million per season. Peterson seemed to blame the players at times this season, while going out of his way to protect embattled offensive coordinator Press Taylor. That blind loyalty to his staff was another reason he was ousted in Philly and a reason he failed in Jacksonville. The team's schemes on both sides of the ball seemed stale. Lawrence was injured and didn't play Sunday, and Mac Jones hasn't covered himself in glory in either start replacing him. But it's not like there was much creativity to help him. And the Jaguars' defense gave up plenty of points to Detroit. In February of 2018, it seemed impossible to think that a little more than 6 years later Peterson could be out of chances as an NFL head coach. He looked like a Sean McVay or John Harbaugh, a championship coach who would be a fixture in the NFL for a long time. Then, as quickly as he seemed to figure out the NFL in Philadelphia, the games suddenly passed him by. The Kansas City Chiefs are hoping for a big jump in production in the second half of the season from rookie wide receiver Xavier Worthy, similar to the one they got last year from Rashee Rice. Worthy is off to a good start in that regard in Sunday's game against the Buffalo Bills. He caught 4 passes on one first-half drive, the final one being for 10 yards and a touchdown to give the Chiefs a 7-6 lead. On the touchdown, Worthy caught a short pass from Patrick Mahomes and outran 2 defenders to the pylon at the right front corner of the end zone for a touchdown. Browns left tackle DeJuan Jones will miss the rest of the season after sustaining a fracture to his left leg late in the first half of Cleveland's 35-14 loss to Saints on Sunday, coach Kevin Stefanski announced. Jones sustained the injury after being rolled into by teammate Wyatt Teller, who was pushed back while trying to block. An air cast was placed on Jones' left leg before he was carted off. The Browns initially said Jones was doubtful to return and later ruled him out. Jones, a 2023 fourth-round draft pick, was making his 3rd career start at left tackle. He started 9 games at right tackle for the injured Jack Conklin in 2023 before suffering a season-ending MCL injury last December. Jones started the first 5 games of this season at right tackle before being benched and then reinserted as the starting left tackle in Week 8. Germain Ifedi entered the game at left tackle for Jones. Jedrick Wills Jr., a 2020 first-round pick who has started 57 games at left tackle, is inactive because of a lingering knee injury. Wills has a chance to play in Thursday night's home game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Stefanski said after Sunday's game. Stefanski said that Wills had a flare-up in his knee and the team thought it would be best for him to be inactive with a short turnaround looming. Instead of being on opposite sidelines Sunday, as they have been for the past 6 seasons. Pro Bowl wide receivers Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf nearly wound up on the same team after the 2019 NFL Draft. The Seattle Seahawks intended to draft both receivers in the 2nd round that year and thought they had a deal in place to do it, league sources told ESPN on Saturday. During the first round, the Seahawks traded pick number 30 to the New York Giants for numbers